Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board-certified psychiatrist. I was asked by a viewer to talk about social anxiety or social phobia. This is a situation where people aren't comfortable when they're meeting new people, when they're in groups of people. They are self-conscious. They fear that they're going to say something that might make them appear stupid or foolish. They're afraid people will think poorly of them. And so they tend to not want to open their mouths and not want to interact, not want to strike up conversations. They tend to actually avoid situations, going out and new situations and meeting new people and being in groups because of this intense anxiety that jumps up over this fear of social interactions. So the question is what to do about it. Now, certainly some people have prescribed medications for these conditions, and certainly medications can help anxiety disorders in general, and specifically this one as well. But really, this is about you. This is really, it's not about medicine. Your best, if you really want to avoid the Band-Aid concept and really get to the root of the problem, the root of the problem is self-esteem, is insecurity. And cognitive therapy can help you to work through this, and desensitization can help you work through this. Now, desensitization means you expose yourself to the uncomfortable situation in little spurts, in little parcels, and you learn how to get comfortable at lower levels of interaction. And when you get comfortable at lower levels of interaction and the anxiety is not severe anymore, then you increase the level of interaction. So you have to expose yourself to the unpleasant situation rather than avoiding it, hiding from it. You deal with it. So, for example, if you are afraid to meet new people and show up in a group of people or show up at a party or whatever, the first step is perhaps just show up and get comfortable just kind of standing on the sidelines. And that's an improvement from like not going out at all, right? So then you're standing on the sidelines and you just sort of like trying to breathe and remind yourself that you're okay, that you're safe, nothing terrible is happening, and you try to get comfortable at that. Then the next step is to step into a group of people and just kind of be there, stand there, and don't say anything, don't necessarily participate, but you're there, standing, you're in the group, you're part of it, and you try to get comfortable just sort of being a part of it, even though you're still sort of an observer and not a participant. Then the next step is to talk and say something. Now, a lot of times people are really uncomfortable starting conversations, so what you do is you ask questions. It's easier, people like to talk about themselves, so it's easier to just ask questions of others and let them do the talking, and you are there listening and nodding and being appreciative and validating, and you get comfortable at that, and the anxiety subsides, and then you start to respond. And you ask a question, they say something, then you respond, you put your input in. And you start to get comfortable just talking about stuff. And it doesn't have to be intimate stuff or personal stuff, you just talk about stuff. Current events, things going on in the world, whatever. General likes or dislikes. And then you get hopefully into more involved conversations that maybe allow for more self-disclosure, but hopefully you have desensitized yourself to the fears along the way until you now are able to have relationships with effective and give and take conversations. So part of the cognitive process involved here in the social anxiety deal is also to tell yourself you got to build your self-esteem. You got to tell yourself, first of all, it's okay if you say something stupid. It's okay if you say something foolish. It's okay if you make a joke and people don't laugh. I mean, it's not pleasant, but it's not a big deal. And you got to learn that that's what you do. You got to put it out there like everything. You got to take some risks with joke taking. You got to take some risks with the things you say. Some people are going to think you're a genius. Other people are going to think what's up with that. But you got to be okay with it. You learn that it's all okay. And people aren't going to judge you or eliminate you or neutralize you or attack you based upon something that you say. And usually your insecurity and low self-esteem makes you think that they're going to react that way. It makes you think that something you said is stupider or more foolish than it might than actually is appearing to other people, most likely. But you've got to just build your self-esteem, build your confidence, be okay with who you are, and not care so much about what other people think of you. You really got to think highly of yourself, and you just got to put it out there. You got to take risks. Like everything else in life, you take risks. So you take risks in groups of people. You take risks with new people. and you try to be yourself, you try to be authentic, and you remind yourself that you're okay, there's nothing wrong with you, you have a right to be in the conversation, you have a right to be in the group, you're as good as everybody else, and you have nothing to be ashamed of, and nothing to feel guilty or bad about, and you practice this. Practice persistence, practice, 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 and eventually, like any habit, any skill, you get better at it. So that's kind of a thumbnail sketch on social anxiety and how to deal with it. Okay, that's it for today. Hope that helped. Thanks, take care, peace be with you. See you next time.